The following views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the producers, hosts, and or guests of the Bittermarks podcast. We assume no responsibility for any errors or omissions in the content provided.
Listener discretion is advised.
Bittermarks! Bittermarks! What's up, smooth babies? Welcome to Bittermarks! It's your favorite non-wrestling wrestling podcast, coming to you every Friday morning, bittermarks.com, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If this is your first time joining, thanks for checking us out. Feel free to email us questions you may have, bittermarks@gmail.com. Anything you want to know, anything you want to talk about, anything wrestling or non-wrestling related, please feel free to email us, bittermarks@gmail.com. I'm your host. My name is Sasha, and I'm joined by my dear friend. It's Peewee. What's up, Peewee?
Happy 101st episode. What's going on?
It's like the balloon has been deflated over here.
We're starting over, right? Exactly. We've peaked at 100 and we're back down to rock bottom. How are you?
Square one. I'm good. How did you feel about being called the voice of Dr. Drew?
I love that. I don't know what I think he has. Dr. Drew has like recently come out with some controversial political statements, but as long as we're talking like 1996, 1997, maybe 2001, Dr. Drew, love it, love that, love it. So love me some Loveline.
I think he came out and he was like, "Yeah, you can't get COVID. Don't be a little bitch."
It was something.
And then
like
he got
that, yeah.
COVID and he was like, "Oh," and then he was like, "Yeah, you can get it. Definitely, you can get it."
Oh, but yeah, I love Dr. Drew.
And all of that, by the way, 100% factual. What I just said.
We don't care for episode 101 through 200.
Clearly, satire. Anyway, we are joined by the punctual prince of podcasting from parts unknown Illinois. It's Producer Tony.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, episode 100 was fantastic. I had a great time listening back to that and hearing all the promos from the Smooth Babies.
Yeah, man. I got to send a big thank you to everybody who sent stuff in. 100 episodes. We also hit 5,000 unique downloads, which just do the math. We get about 50 listens per episode.
Yeah, 5,000 total, not 5,000 last week.
Yeah. I'm still happy with it. Sure. I mean, based on the flips and bumps numbers, this podcast
blows them out of the water, right? Yeah, no, I thought you did a fantastic job of putting that together. I'm sure editing it was a nightmare.
Yeah, I had 13 tracks at one point because everybody...
Tony has to go to bed in 20 minutes. We can't talk tech talk for the next 10 minutes. Just in short, you did fantastic. Thank you very much for putting that together. Thank you for almost everybody for contributing to all the congratulations. I thought last week's episode was fantastic.
Yes, and special shout out to the end. The stinger at the end. I was driving when I heard that, and I almost crashed my car. I was laughing so hard.
The people love Suave. The people,
you know who you are.
That's legitimately the segment that I had 20 minutes prepared for today. I have screenshots. I have pictures on my phone. I had so much material to go off on that today. And now, literally 2 minutes before we fired up the microphones, I decided it's not worth my breath. I'm not going to say anything. Just know that Suave and I don't understand it. We are not friends. There is no angle here. I don't understand it. He's just being a dick.
Yeah, I love that everybody took directions in their own way. By the way,
Putski's was fantastic.
I told everybody, give me a thank you video. I think I said about 30 seconds. Goff is still going. Goff is the hillbilly Jim. I loved it. He was like the nicest to everybody.
Great. Yeah, personalized to each one of us. That was fantastic. Swick for
Swick killed it.
I think we might need to get rid of for 101 through 200. We might get rid of the term smooth baby and replace it with moist makers.
Yeah, it was a great callback on his part, and yeah, I mean, I love the fact that Putski just was like, well, what do you feel about impressions? Like, he texted me the day after, and he was like, "What? Nothing to do with what you asked me, but what do you think about Bill Cosby impressions?"
I gotta say, his walk-in was excellent.
Everything was
all of it
excellent.
was
A
great,
plus.
yeah.
The
Absolutely.
walk-in particularly, that was great. Yes.
I still
And then-
have Putski's extra poster here that's waiting for either me to drop it off or him to pick it up. We need to work that out. These posters need to get hung up. Me and Tony's. And did you hang up yours, Sash?
No, I did frame the additional, because I have 2 of them here. So I framed one. I got to put it up, and then the other one, we're gonna do it right here, fellas.
Ah, okay. So you made 5. The 3 went to me, you, and Tony, and then the extra one you accidentally shipped to me. And
So Putski lucks out on that one.
there you go. Putski's a default winner, and then this is for the 5th one.
Yeah,
How are you? We just spent like 3 hours on Flips and Bumps, flipsandbumps.com, talking about shipping and how terrible you are at shipping. How do you plan on getting that extra poster to whoever wins this?
I would like a review, if you will, from the person who gets this. To just tell me what they feel about this. It's already framed. I'm not rolling
I was going to
it up.
ask your. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's bold. That's very bold.
Enjoy your
on
broken
part.
frame and ripped poster, whoever this is.
I cannot guarantee that you will get anything at all, but potentially get it. This goes out to the people who liked the poster picture on our Twitter and our Instagram. So everybody is in here who liked it. And the name that I am drawing, I believe this is one sheet of paper.
Let's see.
Will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
Fantastic.
great
Will,
follow on.
congratulations.
Will's a great follow on Twitter.
Great follow on Twitter. Not sure if he listens to this show. Might have just won the poster for no reason at all. And Swick is going to be pissed. He will take it from Will, potentially.
Love it.
What else we got going on? I actually just got off of a show myself. I did a comedy show. And this was not a open mic. This was like a show. It was still a Zoom show. So it's not a real comedy show. But like I had to try and make people laugh.
How was
And,
it different than what you normally do with your, whatever it is, the practices or whatever they are?
Normally it's like, you're just trying to, like, you can basically talk through it and you don't even have to put any emphasis on things. You're not really trying to entertain as much, or at least I'm not. I'm trying to see if jokes make people, like, giggle at all.
Okay.
And then, like, once I can see if the joke is, like, kind of funny or not, then I can, like, work to keep building on to the joke.
Okay. So it's like a workshop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
and so
gotcha.
and it's all, comedians and stuff. And this was mostly comedians, but also like a Zoom room of like random people who were watching or whatever.
Oh, give me a link next time. I'll participate as audience. I can fake
No,
laugh for two hours. Oh, you're performing, so you don't want me to. Oh, okay. All right.
Correct.
Fuck the link. I would like to introduce the newest segment of the Bittermarks podcast, and that is Sasha's Joke Workshop. Sasha, take it away.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. People were trying to do like their best. This particular show that I did was like a 1-year anniversary show of this particular group, and everybody was kind of using jokes that they had written in this group. And so my whole thing was like, everybody's using their best stuff, so I'm going to give you the shittiest jokes that I've written all year. And it went over pretty well. I think because people were like, wow, those are so bad. Like, it's funny, you know what I mean? But
Do you have an example?
No, I
Come
don't have
on.
I don't have the
What
confidence.
the fuck, dude? We get 50 listens a week here, bro. Come on.
I promise, by episode 123, I will list a set. Because by that point, I will have done something live, and I will have recorded it live, and you will hear the crickets chirping at the whatever open mic it is that I decide to go to. But no, definitely not. These are horrible jokes. I do not know how to write
that's
jokes.
the point. We know that too.
I was talking to a man named Hattori Hanzo, and he's like, I got jokes. And I was like, I know you got jokes. And they're probably better than the jokes that I get.
I like that.
What kind of comedian do you guys think Hanzo would be? I think he'd be more like a Stephen Wright kind of introspective comedian.
I don't think he would be a one-liner guy. I think he would be like a story.
I was thinking
like
either storyteller or Gallagher. Yeah.
A lot of Police Academy references.
He's
and
just smashing fucking watermelons just left and right.
the number one All Japan wrestling joke guy of all time. He will just have jokes on like Giant Baba that no one will understand. But doing this show, I was actually like somewhat nervous because like, you want to do good or whatever. So it actually got me thinking. Both of you guys have done things live performance-wise before. Have you been nervous? Like, did you get nervous? Like, Peewee, when you reffed, did you get nervous?
Yeah, every show. My nerves, my stomach acts up. I'm a wreck before even just firing up these mics. I get nervous. Just it's more like that butterfly feeling, and it just I never lost it. It was always there.
Same, like always the same throughout. Did it ever get better or worse or anything?
Eventually it did, but I mean, I always, for every show, it was definitely there, but at the extent that it was there, usually it would just be on the drive to the show. Once I got to the show, I was like, I started remembering, oh fuck, I don't give a shit about this. Let me just get through the show and yell at some kids, and it was fine once I got in the door. But the anticipation of driving to the show, that would drive me nuts.
What about you, Tony? When you played music live, like, did you ever get nervous?
Oh, yeah. Well, this was like 20 years ago, but so I was a drummer, and when I got nervous...
100 episodes, and we've never talked about Tony's live performance stuff.
Every episode from here on out will end with a song from Tony's band.
Solo.
Prone, Bottleneck Effect, it's all...
I think I got a demo sitting around here.
I got a VHS. I will put that up on our YouTube.
So when I would get nervous, I would just like beat the shit out of my drum set. And I remember one show in particular, I broke my bass pedal like 3 bars into the first song.
Wow.
And like
because you were going so hard, or
because I was hitting it so hard, I was fucking wailing on it, and it ruined the whole set.
That's great.
So I get nervous.
I was the same exact way. Like playing in a band, like I'd be nervous until we started playing. Like once we started playing, I wasn't nervous anymore. But leading up to it, you were definitely like tight and like not. I mean, just not loose is the best way to describe it, I guess.
Yes.
But,
Were you always talked about how you wanted to train and to become a wrestler. You wanted to train and train and train. You wanted to go to camp constantly, and you wanted to be 100% prepared for your first match, wrestling-wise. Did you also get, after all of that training, you finally started having matches, were you still nervous before the matches?
Oh, yeah. With wrestling, I was nervous throughout the matches. After the matches, like it never got better.
Still nervous. Okay.
Still to this day, very nervous. Yeah. Music, once it started, it was over. But with wrestling, it was constant. Especially, I mean, during the match, it was like, oh god, this guy in Kenosha, Wisconsin, who's going to write this report for, slapnuts.net.
Small, weak, unathletic.
Yeah.
Huevos de Oro sucks.
It was arson. Yeah. It was him.
We had a lot of guesses as to who our mystery wrestler was. The story that we told about litigation and all the stuff that has, changed our show for the better or worse.
I would argue worse. It's taken a lot of the bitter out of the bitter marks.
True. But probably, saved us a little bit of time.
That's probably true as well.
Did anybody guess correctly? Don't say.
Yeah, we
really.
did. We
spent all episode last week trying to skirt around who the name is, only to drop the name this week. That'd be fantastic.
And by the way, the person who got it right, he was like, if you didn't mention the artwork, the poster, and didn't post a picture of it, I wouldn't have guessed who it was. And I was like, excellent.
So there are
But it was
clues.
also funny.
Yeah.
It reminded me because he told me that the link that I got, like all the information on that wrestler from.
Oh, the source, yeah.
Yeah, the source, that link is gone.
Oh.
It has been replaced with a different link to the same story. So I don't know if they just like changed their link or what happened. But this is the same guy who like, there's a local indie here in Chicago who put his match up. They've been putting free matches up like every month because of COVID, and they want to try and stay relevant. And, like, hey, here's this old classic match that we had. It's the Phoenix Twins versus blank and blank. And the second that they put, not second, I have to say here, it wasn't the very second, but I'm pretty sure it was the same day that they posted a video of this guy's match, he was like, "Am I being paid for this? What is the compensation?"
I don't remember signing anything the day of the show. Yes, there was a bunch of comments that were like not exactly like that, but that were similar to that.
And so they then were like, because this person didn't want the match up, we have changed it, and now go get your Huevos de Oro match, or whatever it was.
Absolutely. That's how you get into the homes of the people.
I got some news on the WWE Network, and we're going to skip right over it because we're running late, and producer Tony's got to go to sleep, and I am the reason why...
it does dramatically affect your life, yeah, or it should.
What, the WWE Network?
Yeah, and the changes when they go to Peacock, yeah.
Yeah, they're moving to Peacock, and they aren't going to update their library, basically, until, like, August.
Right.
And so now I can't watch 2007 SmackDowns. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. So move on.
That's the big news. Whoosh. Let's hit up our AEW predictions. Last week, I had 6 out of 9 correct on the whatever their pay-per-view
This was
called.
a tough show. There was a lot of multi-man matches.
Lots of tags.
Yes, a lot of like 3-person or 3-team tags, 4-team tags, multiple matches that were like this. It was either, with these predictions, it was either we all got it right or we got nobody got it right.
So I got 6 out of 9.
That's damn impressive.
Somehow.
Yeah, agreed.
And both of you guys tied with 5 out of 9. Not bad, Peewee. Not bad. Producer Tony, it wasn't the WWE, so
it's hard. I can't get into Vince mind frame. I have to tap into the Vince, train of thought.
Absolutely.
So I'm just messed up when it's AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever the else crap you make me want to predict here.
Now, have you heard about the main event of this show, the exploding barbed wire death match?
I saw a lot of Twitter criticism, I guess. Let's say the word. Nobody liked it, from what I gathered.
Have you ever seen an exploding death match?
No,
okay.
I've never seen anything like that. Like I never watched any of that like super hardcore wrestling stuff. Like I never was into like the big blood and guts shit like that.
And I mean, this was a tradition in Japan in death matches back in the day. Terry Funk did a ton of these. The exploding part of it is 100% a show. Even back when, obviously it was done on Sunday as a show, but even back in Japan, there's no harm done for the most part when these giant explosions go off. But when they would be done in Japan, not only would you get 4 explosions on the corners of each one of the posts, the entire ring would just light up with like, I don't want to say an explosion because it wasn't like a big like flashbang. It was just like a big like boom. There'd be a loud sound, and then all of a sudden, all this smoke just started pouring up, and it did look like a bit like the whole ring had exploded, and you couldn't see any part of the ring. Like the best camera shots, go back and check these out, are like helicopter shots of the ring when it explodes. It's like there's a big countdown. 3, 2, 1, poof! The ring literally disappears and you can't see it because the whole thing from front to back is covered in smoke.
And so you had, Peewee, you had no interest in this match going into it. Like, you're not a deathmatch guy in general.
Correct.
But did you have any interest in at least seeing, like, what AEW's version of this thing was going to be?
Yeah,
or just...
they piqued my interest kind of. I really like the shirt that they put out for the match. There's a very like old school Japanese looking deathmatch shirt featuring Kenny Omega and Moxley on Pro Wrestling Tees. But I was curious just to see what would happen. I will say I was not able to. There's no way I don't think anybody predicted what actually happened.
Yes. All right, so the match itself, to me, wasn't bad. Like, they teased a lot of stuff. There's not a lot of movement. You know, they can't really move because you can't throw guys into the ropes. The ropes will explode. But the first time that they actually did the explosion, I was like, okay, all right. It wasn't embarrassing.
I also thought it looked fine. Even those rope explosions, it got a lot of flack online, but I didn't think they looked bad.
Yeah,
now, I was also watching on a stream that may or may not have been illegal, and it may have been lagging a lot, so I didn't have the clearest picture of it. But from what I saw, it looked great.
So is like the idea, like if somebody goes into the barbed wire, the ring explodes. Is that
A small explosion happens if they hit the barbed wire ropes, And also a small explosion happens if they get thrown out of the ring. There's like pads on the ground that are covered in barbed wire. Another small explosion goes. But also, the whole match is being counted down by 30 minutes. And at the 30-minute mark, the whole fucking ring explodes.
And they did... And so one side of the ring is just ropes. So they can leave the ring without an explosion.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. Okay.
That was like towards the ramp part of the show.
Okay, makes sense.
So they can go out that way and do other spots and whatever. But the stuff in the ring, and even when they went outside of the ring and on those boards that were on the floor, I didn't think it was bad. Like, I mean, it's still barbed wire. You're watching these guys get cut up. It's not CGI. Like, they hit it and then they're like, ow, it hurts. And then you see it go red on their arm.
Sure,
you know, like,
absolutely.
I don't get excitement out of that or whatever, but I definitely was interested in seeing like their version of it.
How they did it. Yeah, what did they do? What are their choices? Right. I was interested in that as well.
And Kenny Omega ended up winning with help from his friends or whatever, which was cool. It was fine. I thought the match in itself was okay. But then it got confusing because the match was over, but for some reason they couldn't turn off the timer. So like 5 minutes went by. And Tony Schiavone's selling it the whole time. He's like, we got to get out of here. This thing's going to explode. Like, why would that happen? Like, why? The match is over.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's like if that's what the gimmick of the match is. Like, you have 30 minutes. If you don't end the match before 30 minutes, you explode. Right?
Yeah, that's how I think it is.
I don't know what that is. To me, that part made sense. I just assumed, obviously we knew we were getting a big exploding ring. I was fine with that part. So Tony, the gimmick was it's Moxley versus Omega. At the end, Omega's friends, the Good Brothers from TNA, come out and they start triple teaming Moxley. They handcuff him, they beat him down, blah, 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 blah. I think Kenny beat him, right? I mean, Kenny pinned him for 3, yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
So Kenny beats him. And like Sasha said, time's still going, clock's still moving, and Kenny is still killing time. He's out there, but then it gets down to be like 30 seconds left. Now they're like, okay, now let's get out of here. Moxley is still unconscious in the ring and handcuffed. Moxley cannot move. Kenny and the boys are going to walk into the back, and then they get intercepted by, I don't know the group's name, but it is Eddie Kingston and others. And Kingston basically sideswipes Kenny, runs towards the ring, while the rest of the groups just start battling. Kingston, who is a heel, correct?
Yeah, and has feuded with Jon Moxley. Like, they hate each other's guts.
Okay, so him and Moxley have a history.
The idea here is...
I love this part.
The idea is Eddie knows how dangerous and crazy this situation is, that he's throwing away...
The ring is going to explode. Jon Moxley is going to perish in 30 seconds if I don't get in that ring and get him out of there. So Kingston, maneuvers through the barbed wire, gets in the ring, starts trying to like push and pick up Jon Moxley, but he's too heavy and he's handcuffed and he's unconscious. He can't move him. Clock's ticking. 5, 4, 3. Kingston throws his arms up. What am I going to do? Finally, he makes the decision, throws his body on top of Moxley to save him and sacrifice himself. The ultimate babyface move. I loved this storytelling. Only for the timer to go down to 2, 1, and on the corners, the sparklers hit. 2 little smoke bombs went off on the sides. There was no coverage on the ring at all. It's also an outdoor arena. Like, there's no roof on the building, right?
Correct.
So, like, the wind just, like, separated the smoke right away, took it right away from the ring, and it fell flat immediately. There was immediate, instant boos. Now, there's a couple ways you can go with this. You still have Eddie Kingston, who's covering Jon Moxley in the ring, and they just haven't moved. In their heads... I think, and Sasha, give me your opinion on this. Neither one of them saw the explosion because they're just keeping their heads down, trying to protect themselves from what they assume is a giant earth-shattering explosion. Now now they're selling it. And by selling it, I mean they're not moving. And it is awkward as hell because they're not moving. The crowd is booing, and everybody else saw that it's just falling flat on its face. Eventually it came, and they went off the air like that. They went off the air with Tony Schiavone yelling about how devastating it was.
And Eddie Kingston was unconscious.
Yes.
So he's just like laying there, like he is completely dead. And the duds went off. It looked worse than like Santine, like Triple S.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Pyro.
gopher gas.
Yeah. I mean, that looked like a death match compared to what this thing was. And you're exactly right. They could go a couple ways. The way that, I guess, how do we want to say it? So here's what AEW did. The match ends. They go off the air. Eddie Kingston is unconscious. John Moxley hasn't moved. They're going, oh my God, everybody's dead. They are not saying anything besides everybody's dead. What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Peewee then sends me a link to what happened after the match. You want to say what that link
so
was?
I found a link on Twitter that just somebody from inside the arena was still recording on their phone, and they posted it on Twitter. It was John Moxley getting on the microphone, basically just like Undertaker sitting up, and grabs the microphone and says something like, I think he accused Kenny. What the gimmick was that Kenny built the entire ring, right? Like he formulated everything. So
because he tweeted out a picture of a hand-drawn ring with all this like explosives.
So
it looked like
storyline-wise, Kenny designed this whole thing. So Moxley gets on the mic and just says, Kenny can't design an exploding death match for shit. And then the room explodes because he's commenting on the horribleness that we all saw. Meanwhile, Eddie Kingston is still unconscious behind him.
Dead.
Like, so you have Moxley.
Still selling, huh?
Moxley is completely no-selling and burying the what happened. Meanwhile, you have the opposite happening behind him with Kingston 100% selling it. I saw so many comments of people talking out of their ass and saying, and backseat booking this thing as far as what they thought should happen. People thought that Kingston, as soon as he saw that the explosions were a dud and that it looked like shit, that Kingston should have gotten up and no-sold it and just either walked to the back or done something and acknowledged that it didn't explode. You know what I mean? And acknowledged what actually happened.
Yeah, but how do you do that?
You can't do that. You can't readjust an entire angle on the fly, nonetheless. Like, even if you predetermine this, you can't do this. This would have to be a decision made on the fly. Kingston did what he was told. He did what he should have done.
And so here's what the worst thing that happened, though. After the show, they talked to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan goes, oh yeah, that was the plan, because it turns out that Kenny Omega can't build a ring and exploding whatever. Yeah, that was the plan all along.
Which
and
kills
now
Kingston.
Which means, like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, because why would Kingston sell that?
The only explanation that I would accept is that, yes, it was predetermined. It was all planned, that the bombs were supposed to go off like that. And that the only reason that Kingston laid on top of Moxley wasn't because he was unconscious. It was more because he was humiliated. He had shed the heel persona to save this guy. He had put humanity first before violence.
No, I don't buy it.
I agree. It's just the only thing that I could possibly see them trying to make sense out of this. Maybe this whole thing was planned just to get us to tune in on Wednesday to Dynamite, nonetheless, a show about exploding, to find out how they recover from this.
I mean, here's the thing. This is a very non-AEW way to handle it. Like, normally what they would do is, like, they make fun of themselves. So, like, the Young Bucks would make fun of it on being the Elite.
That one.
Something would come up, they would have to talk about it on the show, figure out something. They pulled a WWE and were like, nope, this is what it is. Yeah. We planned this all along. Eddie Kingston's just a coward,
and they didn't reference it on BTE, right?
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
I'm almost positive they did not. Which is even worse, in my opinion. Yes, they absolutely should have referenced it.
It's a very non-AEW thing to do, but I guess we'll see what they come up with. Well, one thing's for sure, though, it's part of their history. This is their Shockmaster. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, this, people are laughing.
I don't even know if it's that big. People are making too big of a deal out of this. It was one thing. They just came off of, WWE just came off of Roman Reigns getting handcuffed for 40 minutes in a last man standing match, and people have already forgotten about it. To me, this is the exact same thing. Who the fuck cares? Move on.
Well, yeah, wrestling. Who cares? We don't care. We're doing a wrestling podcast. You're right.
You're doing a wrestling podcast.
I want to send a shout out to @BeKindRewind515 on Instagram. My new boy.
What is this?
He is a VHS collector in Iowa, and he put out a mix VHS tape that I purchased this week. All the proceeds go to the Edna Griffin Mutual Aid, which I believe is some fundraiser for like homeless or shelterless people in Iowa. So he makes these VHSs and a couple DVDs. It's not a lot of them. It's like a very limited quantity. He sold out in 39 minutes. I got a green VHS, and he ended up raising like almost $500 for these people. And so I wanted to send a shout out to that guy because whatever, it's cool. This is his third mixtape that he's done, and so it's like wrestling, TV commercials, and like talk show bits like mixed onto a VHS.
Okay.
And I'm in. I am in. VHS for life, my friends.
What if you get like an extra, like an episode of All in the Family or something like that? You know, just
Dude,
like a throw-in.
Anything is possible.
All right.
I need to send that shout out because I need to become friends with this guy, and I need to.
What were your thoughts on the text that I shot you a screenshot from earlier from a conversation I was having with the producer of the Major Wrestling podcast? He asked me out of nowhere. I wasn't talking to him today, and out of nowhere, he asked me because he knows I got that video game graded. He goes, "Do you know anything about VHS grading?" How excited does that make you?
Dude, I don't know anything about VHS grading, but boy, am I excited. Like, and bigger excitement news, a dear listener to our podcast and a dear friend of ours is moving soon and texted me yesterday and was like, "Hey, do you want 6 boxes of wrestling tapes?"
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah. Yeah, I do. I will send you the postage. I will come pick them up. I don't care. I'll do whatever. But he's
that's media mail. That's media mail. You're good.
Yeah, exactly. It's not too expensive. I'm very, very excited. And picked up another VCR this week. So I got a VCR. I'm good to go. I'm starting to check my Star Trek tapes.
You don't need the network. Let it move to Peacock Plus or whatever the fuck they're going to. You got 6 boxes of VHS coming.
Dude, I am starting a VHS podcast in 2 weeks. It's March, which means March Madness. Peewee, I came up with a great idea, and I told you about it. It's called the PWI 500.
Oh, that's right. God damn.
Now, I know this exists already. However, ours is going to be the Peewee Invitational. It is going to be a tournament with 500 seeded ideas.
Random topics.
It's all going to be based on our show. So it's going to be our favorite things about this show. And it could be, I have 104 listed here. Do you want me to read them? Things like the Jerry Lynn interview. Tony pranks me on our 1-year anniversary show. Possible litigation. Johnny Uranus. Tony's Vince McMahon impressions. Tony's Roddy Piper impressions. Peewee the Booker, the 3-part Pingree Grove story. Dead or Alive. Oh, you didn't know. Double essay, Nico Leach, which was my
That's
indie
a good one. That's a
return name. That's a number 2 seed for sure. And the list goes on and on and on. Slaughter Nick for president. The Scoot Nation. We didn't even get to the fact that Scoot Andrews retweeted our podcast because you tweeted something about the Scoot Nation. Whooshes was going to be like a number 4 seed. The Milk Jug story. The PWI 500. This is happening. I don't know if we'll actually get to 500 different things about this show, but I have 104.
104. This is what you do with your time.
This is what we do on the next 3 episodes of this show. So if you guys have stuff that you like love about this show, or reminds you of stuff, and this goes out to anybody listening or to my co-hosts here.
I hope you're ending the sentence with "please fill out your brackets."
Send all ideas to me because I will seed and make brackets for all of this. And I don't know like how we're going to make this logistically happen, but we will logistically make the PWI 500 happen, even if it ends up being the PWI 64 or whatever. But we're gonna call it the PWI 500 because it's wrestling, you know.
Billy Joe Travis is definitely a 1 seed, right?
Boom.
Oh yeah, he's in here.
yeah.
He's in the 104 somewhere. So is buttercupping.
I don't even know what that one is.
You taught us what buttercupping was.
Yeah, it was your thing, bro.
Like Randy buttercupping the toll booth operators or something.
Yeah, isn't it like where you fart in your hand
Yeah.
and you go
Oh,
shake somebody's
there's no
hand?
way really?
Yeah.
All right,
There's
move on.
there's
I don't remember
Look
this.
up,
But
it's on your poster, bro.
All right, well, let's talk about that. What's your guys' 3 favorite artworks here from the poster that I made you? The first 100 episodes. Let me get mine here really quick. Please don't say it's the first 3 episodes that do not have any artwork. I'm going to give you my first one. I'm going episode 30. I really think this is some of my best work. It is the Ultimate
yeah.
Warrior.
that's a good one. That's
With
absolutely.
producer Tony running down and Santino's head in the background as like one of the fan members.
That was the one where I finally no, that was the run-in. That was the run-in
Yeah.
where my internet like died, right? Yeah, and
Yes,
that
which
came
is,
in
by the
halfway
way,
through.
number 7 in the PWI 500. What about you, Tony? Give me one of your favorites.
Episode 22, Up in Smoke. That is the episode where Bishop talked about smoking weed with Super Crazy at the Odeum in a car, and that artwork is great, and I love that.
What about you, Peewee? You got one for us?
I hate the episode, but I love the artwork. Episode 70, the bitter wife, bitter life. That was the episode where we had the bitter wives on. The video right now is fantastic. We all have the backs of the posters to the camera. I love this artwork because it's me and Tony in jeans and no shirts, and you're a dog. Me and Tony look very similar to that 8x10 of Rockin' Randy where he's behind the warehouse in nothing but jeans that are unbuttoned. Very reminiscent.
Another one that I really like is episode 78 because, I mean, that's like my life in a nutshell.
Yes.
It's my car, first of all. It's Tony puking on the side of my car, which was probably one of my favorite nights of all time. It's the Bushwhackers in there with Peewee. I mean, that's got everything. That's got like 3 of the top 5 moments of my life. You got another one, Tony?
Episode 85, Only Pie Pictures, the where we talked about the pumpkin pie crap and also your Police Academy movie marathon, and all of our faces are superimposed on a picture of the Police Academy. You got like, I think I see Putski in there. Who else we got?
I don't know, but that was also one of mine. I think that like turned out one of the best.
How about
what about you, Peewee?
episode 53? It's hard to see the number on this one, so just look between 52 and 54. Pump it up, pump it up. This is Tony as that's Andre, right?
Yeah,
Gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta
Andre
be.
is holding 2 what looks like cheerleaders, 1 in each arm, and Sasha and I are the cheerleaders. This is fantastic. I don't remember. I have no idea what was talked about on any one of these episodes, but the artwork is fantastic.
I was also gonna go with the Oily Pie Pictures, the Police Academy one, but since Tony, you got that one. You know, the Royal Rumble ones are some of my favorite because I put like a bunch of people who are, you know, listening to the show on them. But I'm going to go with episode 74, which is You'll Never Believe What We Found Out About Utah. And it's just me as a, like, clearly a fan dancing in the front row, but once again, all our friends in the background of it. These are crazy pictures, man.
This is great stuff.
Yeah. So Will, when you get the poster that Sasha's gonna send you, make sure you go through each one of these because these are great.
Oh yeah, Putski and Will, you need to send us your top 3 artwork as well. Nobody else. That's it.
Oh, I also like number 99 because I made it.
It's my least favorite one. All right.
And shout out to F Off Lori, episode 93. That fucking bitch from Meyer.
Just for the message being sent.
Damn right.
All right, well, let's do this, fellas. We got one email, and then let's get out of here. We got This email comes in from our dear friend Putski. He says, congrats again on 100 episodes. They always say the first 100 non-wrestling wrestling podcast episodes are the toughest. Anyway, which is the better stable gesture? Too Sweet, the Suck It Crotch Chop, or the Four Horsemen 4? Which one has weaved its way into pop culture best? I'll work on better impressions for the 200 episode extravaganza. I would love to have that poster, please. Putski. It's a good question.
Yeah. I believe the poster comment is because I didn't contact him. We received this email like yesterday, and I hadn't talked to him since we dropped the episode. But yeah, absolutely, Putski, that poster's yours. I thought this was a good question. I thought this was very good because they're all three gestures are integrated into pop culture somehow. At least the crotch chop and the Too Sweet are. I mean, maybe Too Sweet's not, but I mean, in our world, it absolutely is. Like it's.
Yeah, I lean towards those two, the Too Sweet and the Suck It, even though the Four Horsemen is like, I mean, I still just walk around showing people four fingers for no reason.
Sure.
But I'd have to say Suck It, because like even my wife will throw a Suck It in my general direction.
Suck It is universal, absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that sentence there, Sash. I'm going to go with the Too Sweet for personal reasons.
Okay.
Because I have trained my wife for whenever anybody says, "Oh, that is too sweet" or something like that. We always gotta. Yeah, we both do it.
Wow,
We too sweet each other.
But my wife watches nothing but cooking shows, and they're constantly talking about how stuff is too sweet and too sweet. And too sweet. I do it all the time. But my wife has never too sweeted me. She hates the too sweet. When Connor was 2 and couldn't talk, I would form his fingers into a too sweet and try to get her to touch it, and she wouldn't do it.
That's the number one sign that you guys are headed towards a divorce. I hate to be the one to tell you that.
My marriage is built on a too sweet foundation, baby.
And my wife throws up the Scott Steiner version, so like that's fine.
It's just a fist.
Yeah, she just puts the hand up, but she's putting the hand up. That's I'll take that all day. Like this also got me thinking. The Daniel Bryan, yes. Because
that's way more, yeah.
That's got me back into wrestling. Like that not that movement, but the popularity of Daniel Bryan made me pay attention to wrestling.
Ah, okay.
And at the same time, the Young Bucks were doing crazy things on the indies, and then I got swept off my feet, and now I collect VHS tapes. Next week on the show. We'll do better, I promise. Enjoy this week's episode, and if you're mad that it's this short, or if you're happy, either way, just send your hate mail to me. It was my fault. What's making me bitter this week is lazy throwing people into ropes. Honestly, it's something that takes me out of a match when I see some of these bullshit, throw the guy from the back of the head, or even just a little... bullshit throwing into the ropes. And when people do it legitimately, when they go into it, that gets me more into the match. Just a simple thing like that, it makes it look so much better. And throwing someone into the ropes and then taking a tackle is top 3 moments in all of wrestling, history, all of it. So AEW pissed me off this week, and there was a lot of that bullshit. Producer Tony, what's making you bitter this week?
Fake spring. The past 2 days in the Chicagoland area has been our yearly dose of fake spring. It's been middle 60s. It's been beautiful. It's been fucking sunshine. All the snow's melted pretty much. And then what's going to happen? The next 10 days are going to be 40s, 50s, raining, disgusting. It's going to be mud season, basically. So this is fake spring, and I hate it. And I bet the weatherman looks like Steve Blackman.
Peewee, please tell me yours is fake Sting. What's making you bitter this week? What's making you bitter this week?
I'm going to bring it back to AEW. Ladder matches. I mean, this goes for all ladder matches, but it really stuck out this weekend. Ladder matches, I don't think I've ever seen a ladder match where at least one person during the match didn't look like a goddamn idiot. If you're fighting on top of the ladder and you're semi-close to the prize, whatever that prize is, you can't tell me that the moment you have a second, you're not gonna put your hand on that prize. And it didn't happen once over the weekend. I can't stand ladder matches. They either need to be done much, much better, or they just need to be stopped being done. Because if you want to get proof that wrestling is fake, watch a ladder match.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/bittermarks. New episodes drop every Friday morning at bittermarks.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at bittermarks. Email us, bittermarks@gmail.com. And last but not least, buy our shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/bittermarkscom. That's COM as in, oh, Mamma Mia, we gotta get out of here. Peewee, Producer Tony. See you guys next week.
I still don't have a sign up for this. Go ahead, Tony.
Bye.
Yeah, Bobby got the better of me, but you know what they say. Laughter's the best medicine. So I went home, got a little toasty, and I binge watched all the Airbuds. And now I feel like $1 million. And I'm talking Airbud, Airbud Golden Receiver, Airbud and the 7th inning fetch, and my personal favorite, Airbud Spikes Back. Look at it like this. People thought it was ridiculous for a dog to play basketball. But you know what? People tried to stop him. People even tried to hold him back. But that didn't stop Airbud. It didn't matter what people did or what people said. And me, all I want to do is win the United States Championship. And I'm going to beat Bobby Lashley, bro.